Now the mission is an urban legend, whispered in hushed tones at Cape Canaveral. It wasn't just that the rocket failed. What many missed is that it managed to send one final chilling data packet back home just before it vanished completely. In the world of space exploration, there are the official launches, the ones we celebrate with press releases and live streams. Then there are the others, the quiet ones that happen in the dead of night with sealed manifests and encrypted communications. Mission Pathfinder 4 was one of those latter. On a humid night, a fully expendable Falcon 9 painted a non-reflective black roared to life and shot into the Florida sky. To the select few who knew about it, this was humanity's most daring gamble, a high-speed chase to intercept an object from another solar system, the comet known as 3IATLAS. And this wasn't just any comet. Discovered by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS in Chile, it was the third confirmed interstellar visitor blazing through space at over 152,000 km/h. It was a true specter in the dark, a relic from a star system light years away. To put it simply, this thing was fast. Its path was meticulously calculated. It posed no danger to Earth, passing at a comfortable distance of about 167 million miles. But the immense scientific value made it an irresistible target. This comet was larger than its predecessors, Oumuamua and Borisov, estimated to be up to 6 miles across. It was a time capsule holding the very building blocks of another star's neighborhood. Many are fascinated by finding alien life, but the real scientific jackpot lies in the chemistry. Analyzing the dust and gas in its fuzzy halo could reveal if the ingredients for life are truly universal. At least that was the official story whispered in secure briefings. The Pathfinder 4 mission was supposedly equipped with revolutionary microprobes, tiny samplers designed to fly through the comet's coma and collect interstellar dust. But the staggering complexity of such a mission was often overlooked. Intercepting something that fast required unimaginable precision. The launch window was razor thin, with zero room for error in the trajectory calculations. And the Falcon 9 had to perform a series of difficult burns just to get close. The truth, as it so often is, was far stranger. The mission had a second classified objective known only to a handful of mission directors and a Space Force liaison. The Falcon 9 wasn't just a collector, it was a scanner. Hidden within its nose cone was an experimental deep space resonant imaging device. Its purpose wasn't to look at the comet's surface, but to see deep inside it. As Pathfinder 4 burned through its fuel, traveling farther and faster than any Falcon 9 had before mission control in Hawthorne, California, was a sea of tense calm. The spacecraft performed flawlessly, hitting every single trajectory marker with pinpoint accuracy. On the main screen, a single dot representing the rocket slowly converged with another, the icon for 3IATLAS. Hours turned into days. Finally, the moment arrived. The Falcon 9 was within range. The command was sent to deploy the payload and activate the scanner. The first data packets began to stream back, and initially everything seemed normal. The comet's composition was as expected: water ice, frozen carbon dioxide, and a rich mix of organic compounds. But then the resonant imaging sequence began. A low-frequency wave was directed at the comet's core, and that's when the impossible happened. The return signal was not the chaotic echo of an icy nucleus. It was a pattern-structured complex and undeniably artificial. A wave of disbelief washed over the control room. Before anyone could fully process what they were seeing, a second event occurred. A massive energy spike erupted from the comet, not from its surface, but from deep within its core. Earth's own magnetic field, monitored by satellites, buckled and warped in response to the disturbance. This effect was felt over 150 million miles away. On the screen in Hawthorne, The telemetry from Pathfinder 4 turned to jumbled code. Then, in an instant, it went completely black. The spacecraft and its terrifying discovery had vanished without a trace. Mission Control was left with a single, horrifying reality. They hadn't just found a comet, but a message from the dark. The silence in Mission Control is a sound all its own. It isn't peaceful. It's a heavy, suffocating blanket of dread. In the moments after Pathfinder 4 went dark, the silence was absolute. Every screen that had been tracking the $150 million spacecraft now displayed the same three words: loss of signal. Engineers frantically typed commands, sending pings into the void, hoping for an echo that would never come. This wasn't a normal communications failure. There was no gradual decay, no final garbled transmission. It was as if the Falcon 9 had simply been erased from existence. The thing nobody tells you about deep space missions is that every component is redundant. There are multiple communication systems, backup power sources, and fail-safes for the fail-safes. For everything to go silent all at once is, to put it mildly, not possible under normal circumstances. This wasn't a malfunction. It was an intervention. The energy spike that preceded the blackout was the smoking gun. It had been detected by multiple satellites, a colossal wave of electromagnetic energy unlike anything ever recorded. It wasn't a natural phenomenon like a solar flare. It was localized, directed, and its signature matched the exact frequency of the resonance
to the
scanner
galactic plane,
the Falcon 9
as
had
if
just activated. It was a response. In the hours that followed, a new kind of terror began to set in. The mission wasn't just a failure, it was a catastrophic provocation. Had they awakened something? Had humanity in its quest for knowledge just kicked a hornet's nest the size of a solar system? The data from the moments before the blackout became the most scrutinized piece of information on the planet. The patterned signal returned from the comet's core was replayed over and over. It wasn't a language in any sense they could understand, but it was unmistakably intelligent. It contained complex mathematical structures, prime numbers, and geometric progressions that simply do not occur in nature. It was a signal that said, "We are here and we see you." What many overlooked in the initial panic was one tiny final data packet that managed to get through the chaos. It was less than a kilobyte of information, a fragmented piece of the resonant image. It was corrupted, filled with static, but a specialized team worked around the clock to reconstruct it. When they finally did, the image that appeared on the screen was more terrifying than the signal itself. It wasn't a rocky, icy core. Deep inside the 6-mile wide comet was a perfectly symmetrical metallic object. It was latticed, intricate, and vast, a structure easily over a mile in diameter, protected by a shell of ice and rock. The comet wasn't a natural object that happened to contain a piece of technology. The comet was the technology. It was a spacecraft perfectly camouflaged as a primordial piece of celestial debris. Suddenly, the trajectory of 3IATLAS no longer seemed so random. Its path through our solar system, once thought to be a coincidental flyby, now looked deliberate. Was it a probe, a scout, a seed? Many people are fascinated by the idea of first contact, but no one ever imagined it would happen like this. A silent visitor, a single violent response.
Don't be the
and
one
then
to suggest something
an even
truly
more
extraordinary.
terrifying silence. The echo in the void was the message. Pathfinder 4 was the reply. The human race had just announced its presence on the interstellar stage, not with a friendly hello, but by triggering a defensive system on a vessel of unknown origin and power. The question was no longer, are we alone, but what's coming for us now? Humanity was on trial. The revelation that 3IATLAS was not a comet, but a camouflaged vessel changed everything. The entire event was buried under the highest levels of classification, but the implications were too vast to be contained. For those watching this and wondering if it could all happen overnight, the truth is the signs were there all along. We just weren't looking for them. The trajectory of Atlas, when mapped backward in time, aligned with certain historical anomalies. Ancient texts from civilizations like the Mayans and Egyptians describe wandering stars that appeared in the sky with unnatural speed and purpose, objects that defied the predictable motions of the planets. Many are fascinated by these old stories, but they are often dismissed as myth. What many overlooked, however, were the hard data points. Take, for example, the Nabra sky disk, a Bronze Age artifact found in Germany. For years, astronomers were baffled by one cluster of stars that didn't match any known constellation. But when the trajectory of 3IATLAS was projected backward 600 years, it passed directly through that exact point in the sky. Was it a coincidence or a record of a previous flyby left by our ancestors? Were these probes part of a long-term survey of our planet? A silent observation that has been going on for millennia? What's truly mind-bending is the sheer scale of such an operation. A civilization capable of building a 6-mile-wide probe, disguising it as a comet, and sending it across the unfathomable distances between stars, is operating on a level of technology that is to us indistinguishable from magic. To compare our technology to theirs is like comparing a hand-carved canoe to a nuclear submarine. One travels on the surface powered by muscle, while the other moves silently in a dimension the canoe builder can't even comprehend. Its defensive systems swatted our most advanced rocket out of the sky like a fly without any visible weapon, just a pulse of pure energy. To put it mildly, we are hopelessly outmatched. This wasn't a first contact scenario. It was like a microbe suddenly becoming aware of the scientist whose petri dish it lives in. The Falcon 9 mission wasn't an act of exploration. It was an act of supreme arrogance. We pinged an object we didn't understand and paid the immediate price. The final down-to-earth question is this: what was its purpose? The optimistic view is that it's a passive probe, a library of information, and its defensive system was purely automated, a reflexive response to being scanned so aggressively. But not all things are what they seem. A more chilling possibility is that these probes are not just observers, but gatekeepers. Some have theorized that they are a network of sentinels designed to monitor emerging technological civilizations. They watch for a key milestone the moment a species develops the ability to both destroy its own planet and begin to reach out into the cosmos. And when a species like ours reaches that point, when we start venturing beyond our own gravity well and poking around the solar system, we trip a wire. The disappearance of Pathfinder 4 might not have been an attack, but a test, a warning shot. This theory suggests that the universe isn't empty, but quarantined. The Sentinels are there to ensure that young, aggressive species like humanity don't spread their conflicts to the stars. The message from Atlas might have been simple: we see you. Stay where you are. You're not ready. The thing nobody tells you is that our understanding of the universe might be fundamentally wrong. We spend millions of dollars on SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, pointing radio telescopes at the sky listening for broadcasts. We assume other civilizations would follow a path similar to our own. But a truly advanced intelligence might not be loud. It might be silent, patient, and utterly invisible, hiding in plain sight as the mundane debris of the cosmos. Are we missing the key details? Is every comet, every asteroid, a potential Trojan horse, the mystery of 3I? Atlas forces us to confront this unsettling possibility. We have been scanning the heavens for a whisper, while right next door, a giant has been sleeping. The Falcon 9 mission terrified mission control because it confirmed that we are not alone. But it also confirmed that we are children playing with cosmic fire, and we have just been sent to our room. The story of 3IATLAS isn't over. It's just beginning. We reach